And I think now it should be working. All right. So it is 4:30 at our end. I know at Aaron's end back in Singapore, it's 10:30 p.m. So first of all, thank you, Aaron, for staying up late for us to do this webinar. Welcome to everyone who is slowly joining. Finally, the first of our webinar series. We'll still give a few minutes for everyone to join in. And I know we're also doing this live on YouTube. So welcome to anyone who is watching us live. My name is Aiste Motakaitnene, and I represent LCC International University. So as we're still allowing for others to join, allow me to give a bit of a bigger picture of LCC International University that is organizing these webinar series, so you know who we are and why we do this. So LCC International University is the North American style university based in Lithuania, in Klaipėda. We are an international university where students come from almost 60 different countries around the globe. We are very North American in our style, in our educational model. And as a university, we are fully accredited. So when students come and study here in English, they get an international diploma that's valid worldwide. We offer bachelor degree programs and master degree programs, all in English. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can always find our website on lcc.lt. Besides the regular university programs, we also run quite a few certificate programs, quite many in English language learning. We run camps in basketball. We have a university basketball teams kind of set up in the NCAA style. We offer Lithuanian language courses for foreigners, and we also now focus on skills, amongst which one of our newest programs is the Cybersecurity Bootcamp certificate that you will also learn a little bit more about today. We do have a cyber technology center, which is now behind all of these initiatives, including our webinars. And LCC actually became the first higher educational institution in Europe to become a Cybint certified center. And now I should be referring to Cybint as the Thrive DX SAS. So you can see that on Aaron's background picture. And this, together with Cybint, LCC has partnered to do the Cybersecurity Bootcamp, which is actually a very much hands-on and practical program that provides skills for people to join the career to start the career in cybersecurity. And the bootcamp is actually an accelerated cybersecurity training program designed to successfully prepare people who may have little or no background in IT for entry-level jobs in cybersecurity, leading to a lucrative career path that is in high demand. And besides the bootcamp, the Cyber Technology Center through LCC is also focusing on educational initiatives and resources related to cyber training. So actually, the webinar today is the first of the cybersecurity webinar series that will be running now through the end of May. So every other other week, except for actually this month, where we will be doing webinars now every Thursday. We will be providing these high quality, market-driven webinars, trainings that help you to learn more about cybersecurity, about careers in cybersecurity, about the newest technologies and artificial intelligence in the field of cybersecurity. So today, my honor is to present our partner, Aaron Ang, who works as the head of education services at Thrive DX. And today it's actually a very appropriate topic to be starting the webinar series, where Aaron will talk about a day in the life of cybersecurity specialist and what it's really like. So, Erin, I would like to give the floor to you to to maybe introduce yourself a bit more, and of course, you can lead with your presentation. To the audience, I do want to remind you the possibility to ask questions. We will leave time at the end for questions, comments that you will want to make, and Erin will be responding to those. So please use the Q&A box on Zoom to be asking those questions. And again, Erin, thank you for staying up for our audience and for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you so much, Aiste. It's really an honor to be here at LCC to be kicking off the series of webinars, really. So not to worry about staying up late. I actually don't go to bed that early. So 10:30, it's 10:30 in the evenings right here in Singapore. It's actually just pretty okay. This is the time where I usually start to Netflix, and chill, but it's okay. I'm really glad and really honored to be here to talk a bit more about cybersecurity. Why exactly is it a subject of importance? And something exciting at the end would really be for us to actually have a quick demonstration of what a day in the life of a person who's actually involved in cybersecurity looks like. So this afternoon, this evening, we will actually be doing a live hacking demonstration of a website that was actually created for this purpose. So we'll actually show you how easy it is, without any special operating system, without any special software, any special tools, just by using the web browser itself, a hacker can actually gain access to a website that's not securely configured, and the kind of damage that he or she can possibly do to the website itself. So that will come right at the end. So do stay till the end. I promise you it's going to be worth your while as well. So to kick off today's session, I'm actually the head of education services at TriDX SaaS or SaaS. It's actually software as a service in its long form. And as I still mentioned, we used to be called Cybint Solutions. So a little bit about myself. Before I actually joined TriDX or Cybint Solutions, I really started my career as a teacher in one of the schools in Singapore. So I was actually teaching the language. In Singapore, we do have a couple of mother tongue languages. So I was teaching one of the mother tongue languages, the Mandarin or Chinese languages. I had the opportunity after that to actually go to the Information Technology Division at the Ministry of Education headquarters. Was there for about 5 years to do security work, infrastructure related work as well. So I was involved in setting up the entire the entire information communications technology infrastructure in all of the schools in Singapore. There was a time where we got where all the teachers and students in Singapore actually got access to a one-to-one kind of a laptop program. And with that, cybersecurity was really, really important because we had to make sure, especially for students with technology, everyone is safe, they're not getting into trouble online. And that's how I started my career in cybersecurity. So I had the opportunity to join the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore after my time at the Ministry of Education. So for those of you who may not be aware, the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore is the governmental or national defense organization that actually looks after the cybersecurity of Singapore. So I usually like to share it in this way. The Air Force in the country looks after the air defense of a particular country. The Navy of a country looks after the sea defense of a country, and the Army looks after the land defense. So in Singapore, in fact, this was just announced a couple of days ago, we have actually set up an entire new military organization known as the Cyberspace Defense Organization. So this is an official military organization that looks after the cyber warfare and cyber defense of Singapore. So this is how important cybersecurity is. War is no longer fought just over the airspace, over the sea space, and over the land space. A lot of it has happened in the cyberspace, and I think with the recent events that I'm pretty sure all of you would have known and heard of, you will realize how important cybersecurity is, and I'll actually show some of these examples as we go along as well. So, in Singapore, I actually had the the opportunity to be interviewed by a local paper on cybersecurity, because things were really getting out of hand a couple of months ago. We had a major bank in Singapore, and they had lots of clients who lost millions of dollars just due to a simple phishing attack. So eventually what happened, the bank had actually was made to do a compensation to all of the victims of this particular scam, and the monetary losses were really skyrocketing. And this was the first in Singapore where a bank actually had to compensate victims who actually fell into a phishing scam itself. And this is not just in Singapore. In the United States, in Europe, phishing scams to do with banking related transactions are on the rise. And a lot of banks are actually looking for more and more cybersecurity talents because they are the prime targets of hackers and cybersecurity, cyber criminals in today's landscape. So this is where Cybint, ThriveDX together with LCC as well. We are here really to not just to sell something, not just to sell a course, but the overall goal or the aim really is to have enough people in the cybersecurity pipeline, not only for Lithuania, but across the world as well. So we really want to have a team of people who are well trained and are actually able to protect the cyberspace, to make the cyberspace a safer space for everyone. There is this saying in the cyberspace, unless everyone is safe, and so unless every single one of us are safe on the cyberspace, on the cyber realm, none of us are really safe. So it really takes a lot of effort to keep cyberspace secure, and it is an effort that not just the people in tech are playing, it's not an effort that not just the government are doing. Every single one of us has our part to play. So I wouldn't talk too much about the company. So basically, there's actually two aims that ThriveDX, or rather two main functions that the company is actually looking after. So we are looking after the upskilling and reskilling of employees, as well as those who are actually interested to embark on a career in cybersecurity. So one of the things that we really emphasize is the kind of training that we provide in terms of cybersecurity. So it's not a theoretical kind of a program whereby you learn what exactly is cybersecurity, you learn about theories, you learn about how things work on paper. So we do emphasize a lot on the mindset and the skill set. So in terms of cybersecurity, technical skills can always be picked up. Just do a quick search on YouTube. You will realize that there are thousands and thousands of videos teaching technical skills. How do I do a penetration testing? How do I use Kali Linux? How do I use Wireshark, for example? All of this don't even cost a single cent. You can actually watch the videos on YouTube. You can learn from YouTube. But the important thing of being a cybersecurity practitioner is not just knowing how to use the software. It's not just knowing how to use a tool. What is really important is knowing the mindset of a hacker, knowing the mindset of a defender, as well as having the necessary skill sets to integrate with the technical knowledge. And that is what essentially makes a good cybersecurity practitioner. So I'm going to leave it at that. We do have the bootcamp program that we run with the LCC. In my personal opinion, it is a one-of-a-kind program that really integrates real-time practical skills as well as industry experience. So at the end of the bootcamp, what you are getting is not just a certificate, it's not just a sense of accomplishment from completing a course. What is being offered is the real experience out there in the field. So after completing this bootcamp, you will actually be ready to take on a cybersecurity position. And there's no need, to do further exams, further certificates, and all the employers that we have actually placed our graduates so far have actually been really satisfied with the quality of our cybersecurity graduates. So in Singapore itself, we just ended one cybersecurity bootcamp cohort, and they are actually just hired like days after they have graduated from the bootcamp. So what happens is at the end of the bootcamp, typically we actually have a final term presentation, and employers are usually just amazed by how our bootcamp graduates who actually come in with zero or negligible cybersecurity knowledge, and they graduate with a whole wealth of experience and knowledge about cybersecurity. So this is really what we are talking about here. We are training someone with no experience in cybersecurity whatsoever to get him or her ready for a position in cybersecurity in a matter of 3 to 6 months, depending if it's a full-time or a part-time bootcamp. So I'm going to be honest with you, it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be a breeze. There will be hard work involved. But ladies and gentlemen, I can promise you that the experience is a fun one. And at the end of the day, it's going to be really, really meaningful for each and every one of you who actually embark on the bootcamp journey with LCC and with Cybint. So let's talk a bit about cybersecurity. You know, we've heard this term ever since a couple of years ago when people started to hear about computer security, when people started to get hacked. Why exactly do we need cybersecurity? So with the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm sure most of you have moved your life online. At least in my part of the world, basically every single thing can be done online these days. So when the pandemic was really bad in Singapore, all of us were in a way locked up at home. We couldn't really go out to do anything. So even things like ordering groceries, things like ordering our food, everything had to be done online. So while this made it super, super convenient, everything was at the click of a button, everything was at the command of a keyboard, it also gave the hackers, the bad guys, lots of opportunities. So simply put it this way, if we look at it in the physical world, when there are lots of people going to a certain place, you will find that there are people who are pickpocketing you. There are people who are trying to scam you. In the cyber world, the more people come online, the more things everyone does online, the higher the chance of people doing something illegal or trying to do something bad online. So it is all about the money. It is all a game that cyber criminals as well as the cyber police are actually going after each other. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you this article that came out in the Fortune magazine in 2019. So at that time, the economy was doing pretty okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst either. However, one of the shocking things was that CEOs in the United States, they are actually more worried about cybersecurity than a possible recession. Now, you can actually check out the article if you're interested. Just do a quick Google search, you'll be able to pull up the articles through the keywords. The thing is this, in a recession, every single one is affected. So every single one moves as a team, as a country, as a world. So the thing about cybersecurity is if your company or your organization is hit by a cybersecurity incident, a cyber attack, what's going to happen is that reputation is at stake and monetary losses or financial losses is at stake as well. So if there is a cybersecurity attack that affects a particular company, most of the time there's a lot of money that has to be compensated. There's a lot of investigation, and depending on which part of the world you are probably liable for lawsuits, criminal prosecution. And at the end of the day, your customers are simply not going to trust you anymore. And that is why companies are investing a lot of money. They are investing a lot of manpower. They are investing a lot of resources as well to make sure that their company is cyber safe. So you can look at it this way. There's a problem whereby people are moving online. It's getting more and more dangerous. Cyber criminals are getting more and more really sophisticated. But look at it the other way. This also means that there's a lot of opportunities in the cybersecurity space. There are lots of jobs that are created because of this spike. And if we actually take a look further down in the presentation, these are some of the top security threats that we are facing these days. So I'm not going to detail into each and every one of them, but I'm pretty sure most of you would have heard some of these terms being mentioned. You probably have read about it. So malware and phishing is actually one of the top threats in cybersecurity even today. And in particular, a kind of malware known as ransomware is actually affecting both companies and individuals worldwide. So ransomware has been around for the past 4, 5, 6 years, but yet day after day, if you just check out the news, check out the websites, you will realize that there's a large number of companies and individuals that are actually affected by ransomware attacks. So there are also other kinds of threats that we are facing these days. We have insider threats, we have distributed denial of service, which is basically stopping access to a website or a service. When it means it's distributed, it means that taking control of other devices, other computers, and attacking a particular computer. So these are some of the things that you will learn about in detail. So you not only learn about what the attacks are, you learn about how to stop them, how to prevent them, and how to investigate them as well. So that is the full cycle in cybersecurity, the roadmap, whereby you actually learn not just how to attack, you learn how to defend, and you learn how to investigate as well. So one of the things I really I've been talking for the past 18 minutes, so one of the things that I really wanted to share is IoT, or Internet of Things threats. So I'm not sure in Lithuania whereby is it a popular thing to actually have IP cameras or CCTVs. They used to be called CCTVs. However, these days they are called IP cameras. So basically what you do is that you buy it online or you buy it from a shop, and instead of connecting it via a traditional wire to a monitor, you actually connect it to your home Wi-Fi. And you can use this camera to actually monitor your house, make sure no one does anything funny at home, install it outside your door, make sure your neighbors don't do anything funny. So this is pretty popular in Singapore, for example. And a lot of people buy these cameras. They cost about $15 in Singapore. They install these cameras and they actually use it to monitor, their homes when they're away on a holiday. They use it to look at their pets, monitor, their offices, for example. And the problem with these devices are IoT devices are not designed with security in mind. And if you don't configure them properly, or if you don't configure them carefully, what is going to happen essentially is that you will realize that these devices are very easily compromised. Now, I'm going to stop the screen share for just one moment. And what I'm going to do is that I am going to actually show you a website that actually allows us to just take a look and access cameras in Lithuania that are actually not secured. So think about it this way. So if you have installed a camera, if you have bought a camera and you've connected it to the internet to actually make sure no one breaks into your house, make sure your surroundings are safe. But if you do not configure them properly, essentially what happens is that people around the world, like for me in Singapore, can actually log into your cameras and see exactly what is going on at home. So if you look at this page, there are random locations in Lithuania. So this looks like a house, I believe, and I have no idea what this is. This is probably a work site. Let me show you as we move down the pages. So again, there is no hacking, nothing involved. This is interesting. This is probably an office. So what happens is that even by just aggregating or visiting a website like that, if the cameras are not secure, your friends or anyone on the internet really can actually take a look at what you are doing. So take a look at this image that's actually been live streamed on the internet right now. I'm pretty sure this is an office. You've seen a couple of guys working. And can you imagine if this was your home and someone else on the internet is actually looking at what's happening at home without your knowledge? And this is not all. I can actually even tell where the location of this place is in a rough estimate. So I do have the latitude and the longitude, as you can tell. It might not be the most exact because it's based on an IP address, but at least I have the city. I apologize, I can't pronounce the city, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in Lithuania. And there you go. People are just looking at what's going on in your house, what's going on in your office. And it doesn't even require a special software. It doesn't even require someone to hack the system. So this is a driveway, a garage. Let's take a look at what else there are. Let me see. Okay, more interesting backyards, I guess. And it's not only in Lithuania, just in case you're wondering. It's there's countries all over the world that you can actually take a look at, and some of these cameras. So essentially, this is what is the problem these days. These cameras are out there. People are buying them out of convenience. Companies are installing them as well. And if you do not actually make sure that they are properly configured, they are properly secured, you will realize that these are the easiest to actually compromise. So anyone with some basic knowledge can actually look at these cameras, and they can actually track you down. Okay, they can even take a look, essentially at what's going on at your house. So this is not something that we really hoped would happen in our offices, in our homes as well. So, and these are some of the things that people don't usually realize when they install a new device. And these days, even in our part of the world, even in Europe, in America as well, Internet of Things devices are not just about cameras. We have smart fridges, we have smart microwave ovens. These devices can actually be taken over by a hacker to actually use it to actually hack another person's computer, another person's device as well. So it's precisely this new era of devices that everything is connected to the internet that we really, really need to pay a bit more attention. We really need to be careful about. So I thought, because I was actually doing a presentation in Lithuania, to do a bit of research on some of the cyber attacks that has happened in the past few years in Lithuania itself. So this was one of the most notable ones. It happened in December 2020. So what happened was essentially someone or a group, I believe this was actually a advanced persistent attack, and it's not something that is done easily. So it's probably a sophisticated group, probably state-sponsored or with a syndicate. So what happened was they actually hacked the content management system, or CMS as we usually call it. So CMS is actually a portal that manages websites for ease of use. So you just need to upload the content. So WordPress, for example, is an example of a CMS. And these criminals actually breached 22 different websites operated by the Lithuanian public sector. So once they got into the system, they posted false articles, and they actually launched an email spoofing campaign to spread the misinformation. So after that, the attackers actually impersonated the defense and foreign ministries to actually spread the false information. So you can tell that this is not done by a single attacker. This is most probably done by a state-sponsored or a nation-sponsored attacker, and this is commonly what we call an advanced persistent threat. Now, this is the most sophisticated kind of cyber attack, and if you look at the comment by the particular personnel of the municipality administration, it actually shows huge gaps in the cybersecurity of the public sector. But ladies and gentlemen, it is not just Lithuania that is suffering from these attacks. Singapore suffered one of our biggest data breach just a couple of years back, whereby our Prime Minister's information was actually stolen from a medical database. So all around the world, these high-profile attacks are affecting our lives, and these people are, again, they are highly sophisticated. They are not just someone wearing a hoodie, hiding behind a laptop. They are actually getting more and more advanced as we talk, and this is why both governments as well as the private sector really need a lot of cybersecurity personnel to help and defend our cyberspace. So. I talked about website hacking. So later on towards the end of the session, I'll show you how possibly we can actually do a bit of a website hacking without even using any specialized tool. So a couple more of reports that I came across while doing research for this presentation. So, everyone is talking about the war. And as I mentioned, war is no longer fought just contained to the physical realm. The digital realm is a big problem. So it could be misinformation campaigns, and it could be infrastructure attacks on the cyberspace as well. So What then, I've been talking about cyber attacks, about how scary the cyber world is, about how easy it is for hackers, for criminals to get into a system. What does it mean for, all of you who are actually listening to the presentation this afternoon, this evening? Why am I telling you all this now? There is actually another side of the story. So if you look at this article that was just published in 2020, you will realize that Moody's, Nasdaq, and other firms, other rating companies have chosen Lithuania for their cybersecurity GBS, or Global Business Solutions function. It means that people are actually trusting Lithuania to actually provide good cybersecurity defense services. And it is not just these particular companies. Okay, I'll show you an article that actually ranks Lithuania as one of the top few countries in the European Union, or in Europe, for example, that actually has good cybersecurity standing. But before that, I just want to share that, in terms of the cybersecurity unfilled positions around the world, we have more than 4 million positions that we need to fill. It is not only just in Europe, it is not only just in Singapore. Across the world, cybersecurity practitioners are very high in demand. And if you look at opportunities for cybersecurity practitioners, if you are looking to go for a career overseas as well, it really doesn't matter where you picked up your cybersecurity skills. You can actually move from one country to another, and the skill sets that you require, the knowledge that you gain is actually the same. So I really, I saw this article yesterday, and Lithuania actually ranks 4th in the global cybersecurity index amongst European countries. So if you look at some of I just extracted this part from the article, it says that Lithuania is ranked among the best 10, 6th in the world, and 4th in Europe. And really, I think the government in Lithuania has done a good job for legislation, capacity building. And that's why we have this webinar, hoping to introduce more people to the world of cybersecurity, implementation of technical requirements, and cooperation on cybersecurity. So it shows you how important in Lithuania the cybersecurity is esteemed. And this is recognized not only in Europe, but across the entire world as well. So there is an opportunity here for each and every one of us to actually embark on this as a career. I'm really not sure where you are, in life. Are you a fresh graduate out of university? Have you been working for a couple of years? But cybersecurity is for everyone. So just to share, in Singapore, we have boot campers that I used to have a musician, so he was playing the saxophone or one of it, and he decided to convert his career into cybersecurity. We have people who are 50 years old, 60 years old, joining our cybersecurity bootcamp as well. So this is the kind of profile that we get. So no matter where you are in your life, in your career, no matter how old you are, there is always an opportunity for you to learn cybersecurity as well. So, I need to speak a bit faster, otherwise I'm way behind time. Let's talk about the hacker mindset. So mindset is very, very important in cybersecurity. I always love to give this analogy when we're actually talking about cyber attacks. So imagine with me, if today we are actually, a criminal syndicate and we are about to rob a bank. How we do this, we are probably not going to get guns and just blast our way into the front door of the bank. That is one of the worst ways, in essence, to rob a bank. Most of the time, if you're seeing it in the movies, bank robbers start by camping outside the bank. They look at how many security cameras are there in the bank, how many security guards are there in the bank, what time does the cash truck come in, and what is the weakest point in the bank that allows me to get in and hopefully not attract too much attention. In the world of cybersecurity, this is exactly the same. It is exactly the same process that we actually use. So there is this concept known as the cybersecurity kill chain concept. Those of you who are in the military, you would be familiar with this concept. So it is exactly the same concept and term that was actually imported from the military as well. So what I shared earlier on, staking out the bank, looking for the weakest link. How should I do this? What is the best time to do this? Now, this process is known as the recon or the reconnaissance process. Once you have identified the best timing to do this, the best opportunity, you will actually weaponize your plan, meaning you look for a way to actually get access and you deliver the plan, you do what you need to do, and you actually exploit the weak points, and you go to install, command and control, and then at the end of the day, you get out of the system without being detected. So this is the process whereby a hacker usually takes from start to finish. Every single cyber attack in the world can be matched or can be mapped to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 steps, depending on which process that you use. So having understood that, these are just some of the hackers that we deal with on a daily basis. We have from the most basic script kiddies. So script kiddies are people who discovered a new tool online. This is a free hacking tool that you can download. You can watch a YouTube video and learn how to use the hacking tool. And they use this tool to just try, to see how it works, for the fun of it. And all the way to what I shared earlier on, the state-sponsored, sophisticated cybersecurity attacks. I will not go into detail about each and every one of this. So if you are interested, you can actually just do a quick Google types of hackers, and it actually lists, there's actually detailed descriptions on each of this as well. So what I really wanted to share today is the demonstration of what we do, as part of a day in the life of a cybersecurity specialist. What exactly do people in cybersecurity do? So there are many fields in cybersecurity, including defense, including attack. So there is this, one of the most exciting fields in cybersecurity is known as ethical hacking or penetration testing now. How this works, for example, if today I run a company and I have a new website that I would like to go live, to bring it online. Before I actually launch this website into the public space, I will need to hire a team of ethical hackers, a team of cybersecurity specialists to actually do penetration testing on this website. So essentially what they are doing is they are looking for vulnerabilities. They are looking for loopholes in the website that can potentially be exploited by attackers. And once they look for these loopholes, they write a report. They go back to the system owner and let them know, hey, these are the things that you need to take care of. These are the things that you need to patch before the website goes live. So so it is like testing the system, looking for holes, looking for vulnerabilities before it goes live and something bad happens. This is one of the very lucrative fields in cybersecurity as well. So you get to hack something almost every day. And again, technical skills are not everything. So I'm going to actually do a demonstration on how we do this on a live website, actually. So allow me to actually stop my screen share where I'll actually bring up my desktop. Okay, there we go. So you should be seeing my desktop right now. Give me 1 second. Let me just do this differently. Share my desktop. So let me close this. Let me close this as well. So I'm not too sure how many of you out there are actually from the tech or the IT industry, but for those of you who are, I'm going to introduce a couple of concepts to you right now. The first concept we are going to talk about is called cookies. Okay. Now it's important that you understand this so that you can understand the demonstration later on. Now, essentially, cookies are little bits of information that are stored on your computer by a website that you are visiting. So, for example, in this website, what happens is that if I actually visit this website, it actually stores a particular piece of cookie on the website itself. Let me just go to the correct site again. There we go. So, this website actually has stored a piece of information or known as a cookie on my website. So every time when I actually visit this website, it remembers who I am. So some of you, when you actually visit a website like Amazon, for example, now what happens is that Amazon actually remembers that you are a particular user. If you didn't log out before, you will realize that the website remembers who you are. And for example, if you're on Netflix, unless you click the lockout button, every time when you close your browser, you shut down your computer, the next time you turn it on and you restart it and you enter your details, you will realize that Netflix remembers who you are. So how they do this is through a piece of technology known as a cookie. So the cookie is stored on your browser and it actually remembers your login information and your name. So in this browser, what I can see here, if I go to the Inspect tab, so you just do a right click and you go to an Inspect, you will realize that there's a lot of things that actually appears, but what we really want to take note of is on application, on cookies. Okay, so right now, you realize that there is actually no cookie that is stored on this page, and that's why it says now, because it actually is not able to tag any cookie. So I'm going to go to this website that is actually built on Python, and we are going to see how we can actually use the concept of a cookie to gain access to a website without knowing the username and the password. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click on login, and over here, okay, you will see that it's asking for a username and a password. So I'm just going to type random letters, and it says that my login details are incorrect. So I am a hacker today. I am trying to get access to the website, and I'm actually not given the username and password for this website. So what a hacker will then do is to look at the code or the programming behind this website. And the easiest way to do it is to do a right click and inspect. So over here, I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. You will see that it's a simple HTML site, nothing much to be worried about. But if I look at the applications, this rings a red flag immediately. So if you look at the cookie that is stored in this website, how the website authenticates the user is through the use of a piece of information, as I mentioned, known as a cookie. And over here, it says the value right now is not authorized. Now, I tried this with a bunch of students who were just about 16 years old when we did this workshop with them. So any one of them would then actually tell you, if you actually change this piece of information from not authorized to authorized, there is a chance you can actually bypass the login for the website and get in without using a username and a password. So right now, I've just typed random letters. If I click on login, it says that it's incorrect. Now, however, if I were to actually change this from not authorized to authorized, and the next moment, I did not change the gibberish that's here, and the next moment that I click on the login page, you will realize the website actually thinks that I have gotten the correct username and the correct password and has granted me access into a page in a website that I'm not supposed to visit. So this attack or this kind of hack is a very, very simple attack known as cookie poisoning. So it is a kind of session hijacking whereby we trick the website to think that we are already logged in when actually we don't even have the username and the password for the website itself. It is a very, very simple trick, but it can actually cause a lot of harm. So right here, you see that I don't have a username and password, but I've actually managed to log on to a section of the website that I'm not supposed to have access to. So, however, this is not the only way that we can break into a website. I'm going to show you another way that we do this. It's known as a brute force attack. So those of you who have have looked at cybersecurity for the longest time, you will realize that there is always the publicity, or there's always the advisory warnings that you must always set a secure password. You need to have a password that's at least 12 characters long with letters, numbers, and symbols as well. Otherwise, you're getting into a lot of trouble with your password. So let's take a look at this website. I'm going to show you how easy it is for me to actually run a JavaScript to guess the kind of a password that I have on this website. So again, I'm going to go to the inspect function, and over here, you will realize that I have written a script in JavaScript. So those of you who are familiar with programming, JavaScript is a form of programming language that's commonly used in web applications as well. So this script is actually designed to log in and to search through a whole list of dictionary words until it's able to find the correct password to this website. And it's just going to take about 10 seconds. So I'm going to actually just move this up a bit so that I get a bit of a space and you guys can see it. The moment I press this button, please take a look at this part of the screen. You will realize that the script will do a brute force attack where it will try every single thing that it can to generate the correct password for this access. So if I go and click on next, you will realize that the script is trying letters, it's trying a combination of numbers until it finds the correct password, which is actually password 01. So if you take a look at, these are just dictionary words that we can actually generate from the internet. It also tries a combination of letters and numbers as well. And until it finds the correct password, the script stops. So I'm going to try and log in with this password. So the username is admin and the password is password 01. So exactly as what is written here. And password 01, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most common passwords that is being used out there because it's a combination of letters, it's a combination of numbers, and it's actually typically 8 characters as well, more than 8 characters. So if you use a simple password like password 01, it takes the script like a matter of seconds to actually break the password. And a hacker who actually writes a simple script like this can actually get access to your account. And essentially, you will realize that they can actually log into a page that they are not supposed to get access to. So we have seen 2 ways that attackers can actually use to get access to a website. The first is a very simple attack known as cookie poisoning, and the second is actually one of the classic cybersecurity attacks known as brute force. So the third attack that we are going to show you is called cross-site scripting, or XSS for short. Now, cross-site scripting is actually an attack that is designed to make a website do something that it is not supposed to do. That's the easiest explanation I can have for you. So for example, this is a classic form or a classic text box in a web page. Now, this is designed, for actually someone to type an announcement on the web page. So if I'm going to say, hi, how are you? And if I submit and I go back to the portal, you realize that my announcement is here. So, anyone who logs onto this website can see this announcement. However, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm trying to be funny this afternoon, and instead of actually having an announcement, I can actually force the website to throw a pop-up, that says something completely different. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write a short script in JavaScript. Let's do this very quickly. And then I am going to make the website have a pop-up that says Aaron is very cool. And there we go. And we are going to end script. So, logically, the website is not supposed to accept this because I'm not supposed to change the programming. I'm not supposed to change the code of the website. However, if the person who designed this website did not do what we call an input validation, whereby we actually check what is typed into a checkbox, what is going to happen is that this script is going to be implanted into the website and you will do something that is not meant to do. So if I click on submit, all right, all's good. The website has accepted my script. And if I go back to the admin portal, you realize that the website now shows up a pop-up that is not supposed to do. So what hackers can also do is that they can actually use this function to redirect a user from this page to another page. And with that, what's going to happen is that they can actually create a totally fake or totally false page and get someone to enter their banking username and details, their private details on the website itself. So these are just 3 examples, ladies and gentlemen, of some of the attacks, that are, they aren't really difficult to do. So as you can see this afternoon and this evening, I did not even use a specialized hacking software. I actually didn't use any Kali Linux, any virtual machines, any special tools as well. All it took was for a browser, a Chrome browser, and with that, I could have easily executed 3 attacks that allowed me to gain access to certain areas of a web page that I'm not supposed to gain access to. Of course, I need to qualify, ladies and gentlemen, that this website was set up, as you can see, was set up for the purpose of this demonstration. It is not a website that is really, live in that sense. However, these are some of the things that you will actually learn in the bootcamp, how to actually prevent a hacker from making such attacks on the website, how you can use these tools to test how secure a website is as well. So I'm going to stop my screen share here, and I'm going to go back into my slides. Just give me 1 second. Okay. And with that, I really wanted to share a little bit more about what the bootcamp can actually offer. So let me just do a quick share again. There is this quote in cybersecurity that I stand by, and I always like to share as an example. So, only amateurs, only the beginners hack or attack machines. The real cybersecurity professionals target people. You would have heard this line in cybersecurity. In cybersecurity, in cyber defense, human beings are essentially the weakest link. It is not about getting the best firewall. It is not about getting the best intrusion detection or prevention systems. It's really, really about getting the human mindset right. You can have the best form of protection in a company, in a country. The moment someone, an employee, does something that they are not supposed to do, you will realize that things can go wrong in just a matter of minutes. So, at the end of the day, we really, really need quite a lot of cybersecurity professionals to take care of all of these industry problems that we have. So cybersecurity is an area where it's not just the tech companies require. Every single company essentially that have an online presence, they will need to make sure that their systems are safe and their systems are secure. So the Thrive DX, or the Cybint Bootcamp that we actually run in partnership with LCC, essentially is aligned to the NIST or the NICE framework. Now, this is a very established framework in the cybersecurity world that's actually developed by the United States. It essentially lists down what are some of the things that you need to learn in order to start as a cybersecurity practitioner. So we have taught all of this, and it's actually in compliance to the NIST and NICE framework. The important thing that I really would like to highlight here, this is not just a 5-day workshop. It's not just a course that teaches you cybersecurity theory. It just teaches you how to do certain things. It actually has industry-based and interactive labs. So for example, the examples that I showed you earlier on, all of these are real case studies, real scenarios that has happened before. And this is, in essence, the kind of training that we actually provide to our students. So it is not just something that is in theory. We teach you how to take the theory to actually apply it to real life case studies and examples as well. And of course, in terms of career placement rates, the bootcamp, not only in Singapore, but around the world, has a 90% and above career placement rate. In some countries, we have even achieved a full cohort or 100% career placement rate. So it's not just a course that we run, as part of the entire experience. By taking on the cybersecurity bootcamp, you will get plugged into a community whereby the facilitator will help you in your job search as well, will help you in getting connected to the cybersecurity community globally, will help you in the writing of your resumes and how to pass your interviews at cybersecurity companies as well. So all of this just puts together to make a very, very robust program that we are not just interested in teaching you the skills. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that you are hired and you are employed as a cybersecurity practitioner after taking the bootcamp itself. And these are some of the topics and some of the areas that you learn as part of the bootcamp: vulnerability assessment, forensics investigation, detection, incident response, risk management, malware analysis, just to name a few. And these are some of the jobs, after the 3 months or the 6-month program, these are some of the jobs that you can immediately take on as well, from all the way from a cyber defense analyst to an incident responder. So the bootcamp will sufficiently prepare you with not only the theoretical content knowledge, but also the industry experience and know-how to take on these jobs. And of course, employment opportunities are abound, as I've shared with you earlier, and even some of the latest tech companies that you see, or even in startups around the world as well. So to end off this session, before I hand the time back to iState, I have a quick video to just show you what a day, in the life of a cybersecurity, bootcamp experience is like. So if you actually sign on for the Cybint bootcamp together with LCC, what exactly can you expect to? So enjoy the video and I'll be back shortly.
Morning. Time to wake up. Let me tell you a bit about my day as a student in the Cybint Bootcamp. But first, breakfast and coffee. Time for the first session of the day. We all meet in the virtual class and go over the subjects for today. It's a super convenient platform and super interactive. Ooh, I see Jennifer has a new hairdo. I like it. Jennifer is the one who convinced me to go to Cybint's bootcamp. She told me about what amazing opportunities there are for graduates and how I can start a high-paying career after just a few months of training. I told her I don't have experience in cyber, but Jennifer said I just need to be interested in it and that I can make a difference. I can do it at my own pace, and with all the tools the platform offers, it sure helps along the way. Video lessons, a variety of quizzes, and most important, hands-on labs. Let's move on. In the learning group, Sarah is our facilitator. She manages all the group sessions.
Cybint has a huge network of cyber experts. Having access to network and learning from wherever definitely makes the world a smaller place.
Jennifer's right. Now I'm planning on having a key position in cyber defense. And the Cybint Bootcamp is just the place to do it. Well, the day is almost over and I have a job interview. That's another stimulating and enjoyable day in the life of the Cybint Bootcamp. And in just a few months from now, I'll have a new job as a real-life online crime fighter. Want to join me?
All right, and with that, we have come to the last section of the webinar, which is the question and answer. So I do have one question that's really interesting. I saw this question pop up much earlier on the webinar, so I'm going to try my best to answer this. In the meantime, if any one of you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A. We'll be glad to share and answer the questions. Or if you're a bit shy, you can drop me an email as well, connect on LinkedIn, or if you have anything that you need to ask, I'll be glad to connect and I'll be glad to share as well. But in the meantime, let's answer this question. So what do you think about Russia's move to set up its domestic internet and at the same time have access to the regular internet? How can this affect cybersecurity? Now, this is actually really not new. So certain countries in the world have a setup in that case. So what happens is that the main aim here is to control and regulate information. So whenever a country sets up a local or a domestic internet, and then actually what they actually do is that they have a layer of filtering that allows access to certain websites, that rejects access to certain websites, and to control or even monitor what people do online. So if we are talking about how this actually affects cybersecurity, it just means that whatever that you do on the internet is actually monitored in a way. And there are actually ways to make sure that your identity and of course you are staying a bit safer online. For example, there is the use of a VPN, a virtual private network that encrypts the connection between your computer and the websites that you are visiting, so that no one can actually just take a look at what you are doing. There are also more sophisticated technologies. For example, known as, well, it's not really sophisticated, it's known as the TOR. So those of you who have heard of the dark web or Tor, this actually provides a relay circuit whereby you are actually bounced from connection to connection to actually access websites, and your identity is actually kept hidden and actually kept private. Of course, we also, during the bootcamp, this is actually one of the most exciting topics that I usually share in the bootcamp. Basically, we share with our participants how to access the dark web. Not for you to actually do anything illegal, but for you to know how the dark web works, how to protect yourself from the dark web, and you're working in a company, what are some of the things that you need to look out for on the dark web itself. So when we're talking about internet censorship, cybersecurity, all of this is done in a discussion format, So it's exactly like all of our participants get to share, they get to share their experiences. We as facilitators share what we have heard from around the world, and this is the beauty of the bootcamp. The learning is not just theoretical; it comes from social constructivist kind of theory, whereby everyone contributes and everyone actually learns from one another as well. So the next question I have is probably for Aiste. How much does the bootcamp cost? Aiste, please.
Right. One thing I want to say, I actually enjoy seeing many of our current boot campers on this webinar. So that's amazing. Actually, the boot camp that is now to start on April 15th. The price is 4,000 euros, and that's a 6-month part-time program. There are also payment plans, so there are a lot of opportunities. I will, in the chat box, I will put the bootcamp link as well as the contact email in case anyone has questions. But I also want to say that the bootcamp price, this is a discounted price for still this academic year, as this is our launch year. We've started our partnership with ThriveDX Cybint just last year, but the price will be going up. So that's why for anyone who's truly serious, I would encourage to use the opportunity and take advantage of the discount. Yeah, good question.
Okay, if there are any further questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Otherwise, you could drop me an email as well. You could drop Aiste an email. So as and I'm really glad, as Aiste mentioned, that some of the current boot campers are actually in the session as well. Well, although I can't really see you, but it's really nice to meet our boot campers, really. And at the end of the day, it is a community that we are building here. It is not just about selling a course. It is not just about selling a program. Really, it is about creating this community whereby we can all share and we can all learn together. So when you actually come on board on the bootcamp, there's actually a Discord channel. Even after the program has ended, the Discord channel is pretty much active. The previous batches of boot campers will share their knowledge and experience of getting a job, for example, their experience in work as well. And it really becomes a community whereby you can actually learn and do cybersecurity together. So in Israel, for example, we actually just had a outing, where entire bootcamp of students, they actually visited a conference in Israel together. They met face to face for the first time in I'm not sure how long. So this is the kind of community that we are building here, and I believe at LCC the values of community is pretty much important as well, because learning is really not just about reading a textbook or learning the content. The community and the support that you get, not only from LCC but from Cybint and ThriveDX itself, is going to not just be for the period of the bootcamp. So even after the bootcamp, you get access to, get the chance to ask questions. If you need anything, we'll always be here to support you throughout your journey in cybersecurity as well. Yeah. Otherwise, I think there's no further questions. That's about it from me as well. I think I will pass the time back to Aiste.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron, for your time. I actually want to put this slide of this was our webinar today. I do want to give an advance reminder of the webinar, which will happen next Thursday. So this webinar will be done in partnership with Heritage Solutions, and our guest speaker will be focusing on the evolution of the multi-factor authenticator with Yubico. So that will be also a very practical webinar, giving you some insights into these tools. So as I mentioned at the beginning, the goal of these webinars is to continue to provide educational opportunities to learn more about cybersecurity, about a career in cybersecurity. And in the back of all of this, we are here to provide opportunities to actually choose that career path through the Cybersecurity Bootcamp that LCC International University is running in partnership with ThriveDX. So if you have any further questions, any inquiries, I did put the contact email in the chat box. Feel free to contact us. If you have registered for this webinar, you will receive reminders about future webinars, so emails will come to you, which hopefully will be a helpful reminder and a helpful tool for you to have. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Aaron, for your work in opening the curtains into the cybersecurity specialist worldview, kind of what it could look like, and what are the tools, what are the programs that somebody can go into and learn what it takes to go into the field. As you said, cybersecurity now is becoming a tool in political situations. That's what we are seeing here in Lithuania in this current war in Ukraine. And I think, as you said, the need for such specialists is growing each year. And if for any of you, if you are passionate about the world of cybersecurity, we are here to give you the tools, and we are here to also give you the qualification program that would equip you to actually go into this career field. So thank you once again to everyone. The recording of this webinar will be on YouTube in case anybody wants to share or review this. And right now, I wish you, well, first of all, Aaron, a peaceful night. You are ahead of us in going into the night. For all of us here in Lithuania, have a peaceful evening, and I will see you then in a week next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, everyone. Really
Yes,
a pleasure
thank you,
to be here.
Aaron. Yeah, good night.